Hi, my name's Cameron Carlson with AnimeLocation.tv. I'm here with my good pal, Mr. Tony Oliver. How you doing?
Good, doing well. Hi, guys. Hello.
Alrighty, now it's been a year since the last time you and I had the chance to talk. It was at Matsuricon 2023. How have you been in the last year?
Been really good. It's been it's funny because it gets really busy and then really slow, and then really busy and then really slow. So I've been doing a lot of in the slow times getting stuff done at home, and during the busy times just keeping up.
And since last time we talked, you had briefly mentioned that you were going to work on a big project, which was not specific, but you were now working on the Scott Pilgrim Takes Off a Netflix series. How's it like working on that, knowing that you were going to work with such talented actors?
It was a little intimidating at first. I was actually brought in it was done in two waves. We brought in a team of actors to read the scratch, just kind of scratch out the script so the animators had something to work with while we were waiting for the stars to come in. And that was what I was hired to do, and NBC, the Universal Content, liked what I did, so they brought me in to direct the celebrities. And it was a little intimidating at first, but it was really nice to find out that these guys were just as insecure as all the actors I work with every day. The only difference is they do it more, so they get to it quicker. And it's really rare to have a cast where the entire cast is like A-list, unbelievably good actors, prepared. They brought a lot to the table. They brought a lot to the scripting. They ad-libbed a lot. It was a lot of fun.
It's cool to hear that they were ad-libbing, because you hear a lot of big name on-screen actors that they come in to start doing voice acting. They don't know that they can kind of be a little more goofy in the booth versus.
It depends. If you're doing a comedy, it depends on what. But this was, it's an Edgar Wright comedy, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Since last time we touched on you being an adapter work, like you adapt. So adaptation is a pretty hard process, and a lot of fans don't know how hard that is. Especially if we're doing to Japanese American, there's some cultural cross references that may not hit for Americans from Japanese. How do you make sure that you're making those references known in the American culture as well?
Well, it's easier now because the anime has gotten so big and ubiquitous, and everybody knows it. Early on, we would just try to find a way to explain things in the added dialogue or off camera when we weren't seeing lip flaps. Now, my approach is generally to trust the audience. Okay. They know what they're watching. They know this is from Japan. So let it live on what they're presenting and make sure that it's supported properly emotionally by the characters, and the audience will figure it out in context.
Yeah.
Usually. Yeah.
I mean, actually, the one thing I got taught from Japanese media was the red string on a pinky. The heart thing about being in lovers. Yeah. That actually was from watching an anime and understanding that. I was like, oh, that's a reference to love and everything. I was
introduced with the nosebleed, but that's another story. So,
since last time we talked, the industry yet again keeps changing so rapidly. And as a veteran of the industry, how do you make sure that you keep up with it as it keeps changing?
I try to stay abreast of what's happening. I ask a lot of questions. Most of the time, I'm just focused on continuing to do the work that I do as best as I can, and hope that the industry doesn't move away from me. There's not much you can do if the fandom moves away. So far, I've been really lucky.
No, I mean, honestly, I think you're probably one of the veterans that I actually will tell people. If you're new to acting or new to voice acting, period, I usually tell people, like, if Tony's offering classes, go take a class from Tony, because you literally know the ins and outs of both the film, television, anime, theater. I mean, you can't get a better teacher, in my personal opinion, other than Tony. So
later,
he's not paying me.
I'm just joking.
Speaking of crafts, you're well known, again, like we said, providing guidance to the next generation. When someone's new comes in to the booth, and they're very timid or nervous, how do you make sure that you're guiding them in a good, healthy path as they continue their career?
I don't know if I can guide them. I mean, that's really more for a long-term teacher. But I do try to remind them that they got the part. that you are good enough to be here because obviously we hired you, and no, but that's a lot to really kind of make people feel a little better about it. Also, I don't pressure new actors. We move at the pace that they move at, and I give them a lot of emotional direction, so they're not being told go left, go right. They're being told feel this, feel that. And that's a much easier way to approach a character. So it's just a matter of being a little gentler and more patient while these actors who are good enough to be there find their voice.
I think that's probably a valuable skill, is just making sure that you are comfortable in the booth and you continue your journey. And hopefully we'll hear more from them as time goes on.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Now, you happen to work on the Ultraman arc, a live action show. When working on those, how do you approach that compared to when you're normally dubbing anime? Because, the old school, the mouth would move and then the sound would come, the old school 1950s, 1960s. And now it's gotten so good. How do you guys make sure that, you're keeping with the original dialogue, but also, interjecting what needs to be interjected?
Well, fortunately, in the last 10 years, Korean films have made a big jump. So there's been a lot of live action dubbing happening. Right. And the skill level and the art of that has improved. It's evolved. So it's really from normally it's just a standpoint of just kind of living in that character and acting in a cinematic way, which means in anime we overact a lot. In this you have to kind of pull it back down into the real world. Fortunately, Ultraman arc is very cartoony. So my character is kind of, he's a little wackadoo, and it's funny because he's always very earnest, but he doesn't do anything. And I'm currently working on that, and it's been kind of fun. What's fun about it is that it takes me back to my Power Ranger days. Yes. When we first started looking at those things and looking at the Japanese shows and what we were going to do with it, and now and Ultraman was one of the ones we looked at back then, and so it's fun to be kind of now have it in front of me, and now we're actually doing that show. So it's great. It's good to be back doing that stuff.
Alrighty, now if you had the opportunity, as your many years of career, now it doesn't have to be just your shows, but if there was a particular show that really touched you that you would love to go back and give a lot more love to, and have the opportunity to re-record or redub, what show do you think you would love to get your hands on as a director, producer, or just even as a voice actor?
Wow. As an actor, I wouldn't mind doing Robotech over again. Okay. I can't watch it. I can't. I hear every rookie mistake I was making. It was my first series, and I there's a couple of reads that I give that I remember the director fed me those reads, and I can hear it. Oh, I was totally fed that. That's terrible. So I would love to go back and do some of the earlier characters that I did and actually bring some skill to the table.
Yeah, as I say, because I remember the way you guys recorded the old school Robotechs in the 80s was at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, I did. Yeah. It's because
you had to run from one booth to the other booth, because we talked to Epcar and Ellen about it. That's how we,
crazy. It was pretty crazy.
Alrighty, and then kind of you were touching on Power Rangers, and I just had a friend of mine who's a huge Power Ranger fan send me 31 years ago, Power Rangers debuted here in America. How does it feel that Power Rangers, the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, is now over 30 years old? And your name is still there in the title credits.
I feel old. No, I was actually just at Power Morphicon last week with all of these guys, and it was delightful to watch the fandom. A lot of the younger kids discovering the Mighty Morphins, the original ones, and the generations of different actors were there. It's been kind of cool and it's a little surreal because the way I think about it is, we planted this seed and look at the tree that grew. And so, I'm kind of proud of that one.
I'm 36, so I was the right generation for it.
Yep.
Alrighty, 2 real quick things. Do we have any current projects being at a Beyblade show or anything like that you want to promote right now?
Well, I'm working on Beyblade right now. There's a new generation. They've kind of upgraded the show and rebooted it and made it a little older feeling. It's kind of cool. It's pretty cool. So I'm working on that. I'm not sure when that's coming out. And then if it's not, it might be like right around now. And I'm working on Mission Yozakura Family for Hulu. It's a Hulu original. Right now it's out in sub, but it's going to coming out in dub very shortly. And that's a lot of fun. I did Undead Unluck last year, so that's another. Hopefully we get to do more of that. And I've got some couple things coming up that I can't talk about.
Yeah, we don't want to break those NDAs. We get that part. Alrighty then. Real quick, I know social media. Where can we follow you on there?
Instagram is at Tony Oliver 275. You'll find me there. On Facebook, it's Tony Oliver Voice Actor. I don't do X, but you'll find me on Threads at Tony Oliver 275.
All right, and then what would you love to say to all the wonderful fans that have been keeping up with you? Like I said, I've been keeping up with you for 30 years, and some people even for almost up to 40. How's it been? What would you love to say to all of them?
Thank you. I without you guys, I don't exist as an artist. And for hanging with us and for hanging with me. It's a moving thing. It's not something I expected. I always wanted to be an actor, but I didn't always understand what that meant in terms of the relationship with the audience and how important that is to both sides. So thank you, and I hope to see all. I hope you all keep watching.
Tony, I love having you. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for coming out today.
Thanks guys.